bit technical, this technique that I use. Okay, let's go to this one here. Blue is JBL, red is frequency response direct from the amplifier on the going through the THX sound system on amplifier return. So it's following that curve because it's got a 500 Hz 24 dB crossover, links Riley down this end. But there's a bit of an amplifier roll off. That's just the amplifier. Okay, that can be corrected. All these things can be adjusted. So that's so let me just adjust this level because of the pickup on the microphone. So I need to adjust the level. So it's about roughly about there, I would say, for guesstimation. So there's a bit of a dip. That could be the microphone placement to the screw. So I move the microphone a little bit away from the speaker, a little bit more toward it. Now it is very technical. Move it a little bit more flat close to the screen and move it a few millimeter away. To get a rough approximation, go a little bit more technical, a bit more clinical. There's quite a bit to it. There's a centre bar going down the middle of the screen, so I know what all that is about. And then it's just setting up all the others more or less to the same positioning. Just pulling microphone away and adjusting, readjusting. Slightly up a little bit by a few mil. Reason why this close? Why not? Why not that close? You tell me why. Got another microphone that's going to be back here to look at finalise. So, you know, that microphone, you know, the sound coming over from to this direction and then that direction, and, you know, get a piece of string, you know, whoosh, and you measure it. Or, you know, it's string is cheap. Cotton thread, whatever. You know, it's cheap. You get a laser, it might cost a bit. You get lasers all different prices, they're cheap. And you've got to have it positioned in a position. The laser's got to be in a fixed position and then orientate its position and then take a measurement so the laser or pump, it will reflect onto a certain area, roughly guesstimated to where the microphone's position is. But because the microphone's just like a single ear, okay, if that makes sense. Like a single ear. You know, when you listen with two ears, it's like, maybe we should just have this mono, you know. Well, it is mono. Pink noise. It's not stereo. It's not going out in stereo. I can put the pan pots, adjust them on the mixer and such, and then I could look at a sum signal of say that channel there and that channel over there, and I think, why has it got a bit of this odd strangeness in the frequency response? Because the signal should sum up. So you got to check all the wiring on everything, you know, amplifiers, you know. I know when I took everything off from the THX sound system, you know, I noticed there was a slight, which I haven't corrected yet. I have to do it internally on the, otherwise you can check reverse polarity on the DCX. You reverse the polarity and such to correct. That's why it's a loudspeaker management system. So if something was you know, reversed, you know, on the wiring on the amplifier to speaker, it could be corrected by you know, until you, as long as you get the the crossover frequency regions, you know, and the signal sums up, you know, it's okay. If it's got a bit of a dip sort of thing, then it's weird. It's either got a delay on one of the bass or the mid-range, high range. It's got a delay on that's doing that, or you know, otherwise it should go flat still across. It will have a slight dip because it's rolling off. But then you have a master EQ that that does this channel and that channel, and then you have individual EQ for the bass and the high range to adjust the imperfection. Because I'll put this up again because this will be a long video. So the blue is a little bit of a, you know, the red, looks a bit smoother because that's direct and that's speaker to microphone. Now there are quite a few imperfections here going on, quite a few. I'll explain. I'll go to a higher resolution. Third octave, I go to 1/24th, and I go to the, over here, I go 1/24. And I'll make an adjustment. Well, no, because I can see some of the peak frequency on this is almost similar, but everything else has got a dip. So it's up and down like it's worse than a roller coaster. In fact, I've seen country roads that are a lot more smoother than that. Looking at the resolution on the amplifier, it's probably within tolerances of minus, I don't know. Because it's pink noise moving up and down, it's not a sine tone. So I can't generate the tone sweep out here because it's not connecting going through the system. So I'd have to do a sine sweep using, I think I can use this. Just got to stop the pink noise on the, stop that generator. Turn that off. I think I could do a sweep, quick sweep. No, I don't think it's gone through. I don't think it went through. No, I haven't got a response there. That's just random noise. It didn't go through. Probably have to do it through the REW. Let's see. Because when in default mode, it only goes to channels. Oh yeah, sorry, I'll do it again. I've got to turn off the other because it's only on left and right. I do miss the stereo multi-mode on the Denon. Because my system was pretty good before I had the Storm. It could do quite a lot of things, and the Storm only does a few. Only the Storm is a delusion, okay? It only gives you more access to Atmos pan through channels and all that. That's all it's doing. That's all the only everything else, all the other crossover and fancy, all the EQ. Most of that is like what common to a Behringer DCX. Everything except the EQ, the Dirac. I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't use Dirac if Dirac were paying me, or even Odyssey, or even Genesis. I wouldn't use it if they paid me because it's flawed. I want narrow band filters, literally, that you could generate on an FBQ, but an FBQ here, it can't cover the entire range. It will still miss out many frequency bands. You do a sine tones manual sweep on REW, 1 hertz, 1 kilohertz up to 2. That's a lot of frequency band there, and those have to be corrected. You can't just throw them out the window and I'll use 1/24 or I'll use 1/40. you'll only be doing half of the EQ, you know. The speakers are not perfect, and of course the microphone itself, that has to be adjusted and have its own specific EQ to do frequency band, say for about with 20,100 PEQ filters. That's a heck of a lot. And don't say it's impossible, because I know it is possible. And it could be made and mass produced to be very cheap, and it will sell like hotcakes. And guess what? All the Odyssey and all that Dirac and all that would just get thrown into the cat litter box, thrown out the window, burnt, smashed up. It would be completely, utterly useless. No one would want it anymore, because now we got the real deal. EQ has to be done electronically, because speakers and sound and everything is all electronic. But the speakers are far from perfect. They're all over the space. I just showed it. Partly some of that imperfection is partly the microphone. I put another Behringer microphone in it, and it's a slightly different frequency. The microphone's got to be adjusted. The microphones have got to be adjusted until they got the same response. And then you do a sweep on an amplifier, it's always the same. It's always the same. It might have a roll off, but then it's got power there. You could put a filter in and raise it up until it's flat. It's not a big deal. You get some amplifier, it's just got a filter on it, for crying out loud. And all you have to do is compensate. So I think I could do a sweep on REW. It's a bit technical, because I've got to switch to channel A and B, because I can't bring up, unless I bring up two REWs on the screen, have one for channel A and one for channel B, or one for left and one for right. I'll just do a sweep. Be a bit loudish, I think. Let's see if it works. Signal too low, so nothing going through. Let's check. Let's check what's going on. Might be through one of these. I should be seeing a signal up there. I'll just check it again. No, it's not usable. No, I'm not seeing a signal up there. I should be seeing a signal. I know why. Because I was using this processor last night with the CP750. Yeah, PC computer down here. It's not on HDMI. So I've got to switch it over. Boom, now it'll work. So I've got to go remember all these things. It's so it's not saying that, oh, this process is complicated. Best ever? No, it's far from that. If I was going to do a frequency sweep or a check with Dirac on it, or is it Diracs, you know, like Enemy Mine. Hey, Dirac, I'm hungry. You understand, hungry? I want EQ. Feed me power EQ. Let's do it again. Oh yeah, up there. Bingo. But I'm not getting the signal there, so I'm on the wrong channel. Let me see. Channel. I'm on the wrong channel. Need to pick up the response from the amplifier return. Preference, I think it is, isn't it? Output, input. I think change that one to right. Go back down, over. It might work now. Bingo. I'm just doing the, just to make sure it's on amplifier. Do a sweep. Yeah, I heard that. Oh, let me do that again, because I forgot. Got to bypass the EQ that I was doing last night. Yeah, just bypass that. Make sure I bypass that one. Bypass that one. That's bypassed, okay. I'll do that again. It might have a little weirdness in it. Because there's something a little bit odd. That looks a little bit better. Ah, there we go. So go back to the other one. Oh gosh, overlay. Yeah, these are sweeps I did last night. So I'll turn those off. My eyes only. For your eyes only. Da-da-dun. Only for you. So that was the other frequency sweep I did a moment ago. The blue, because it's all got the filters in. It looks like that. But how it looks on the, you know, on the return to the microphone, to the RTA, it looks okay. I need to get a new phone. My phone's got a bit of a glitch in it. It's got a bit of a crack on the screen. I can see things going, so I need to get a new phone. Mind you, it's done pretty well for a few years. I think they got the technology. They might be able to dun 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 fix the screen. We have the technology. Okay. So there's the other frequency response on the amplifier. That's going from, don't forget, it's got the Lynx Riley crossover 24, but it's got a bit of a roll off on the high frequency. Almost like similar to, say, like, I don't know. I mean, look at that curve roll off. Bloody hell. If it went any steeper, it'd be like one of those vertical drop blimmin' roller coasters. But it's like a blimmin' roller coaster ride, that. You gotta be kidding me with that. Of course, when it was on the THX system going all through, it compensated because it did a high frequency boost. So all you do is put a filter in on the Behringer. What PQ have I got there? Okay, I'll turn one filter on. This is for AB. This is for ABC. So it's not individual, it's just ABC. So I use individual EQ to correct the individuality of the speaker because it's imperfect. And I'll use another one to an ABC to go over all of them. So I'll do a sweep again, see what it looks like. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, ouch. Oh. Let's have a look at the response. Yeah, so it's gone up a bit. It's gone up a bit. It's got a bit of a hump there. That's because of the filter I'm using, 6 dB slope. So it's going over this sort of thing over and over and over. So if I brought the what was it, 1 2 3, no, bring that down a little bit, bring it up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit. So it's a case of going over and over in this and getting that. It's really technical, but it's not impossible. It's just, it takes a bit of a while to do it. Otherwise, it did it nicely on with the THX, but I thought I'd come away from that. But now I've got this kind of roll off on the high. Or I can do the reverse to that. I could put a filter in down this end and bring all this end down, this proportion of frequency down until I get that. And then all I do is I take up the gain level on the amplifier or on the DCX. I just raise the gain level, boost it up. So how do I do it? I've got to use peak noise and go through it a few times. That's on FF2. Was it FTTF? I can't. I always get muddled up. Anyway, it's on that response. Just go to 148. So there's a line on there. I might need to put a few filters in here, mind you, because that is a bit of a drop. Or I do, like I say, trade off something down this end. It's putting on a filter, and you're not going to notice it too much. You wouldn't notice it too much. Most of you, our hearing range might be picking up pink noise a little bit around this range. You know, a bit down there and a bit up here, and it's not really picking up the other part until you put a crossover on it. Boop, and then you hear this little, well, actually that, not quite, because that's more like 8 kilohertz that I'm doing there. Okay, I made a small adjustment, took the PEQ filter, the frequency up a bit. It's on 12 slope, and it's on a, it's flattened it there, looks okay there, but except for this humpback whales. Put another PEQ filter in on the ABC, but I can only use so many, otherwise I'll trade off how many on the output, plus the frequency curvature on the crossover. If use a higher crossover slope, it uses up more bandwidth. I don't know why Behringer didn't design these blooming things so you can use the entire thing without, and still have maybe 10% of usage on the device. So there's a ways to trick it, and you can really push it to the limit, but then it starts having digital artifacts. It takes a certain technique to do it. I learned that many years ago. So I'll just adjust it, and then you'll see something a little bit different. And it's gradually altering. Mind you, that takes a bit of technique. That's something that youth man can't even do. Sorry, youth man. Oh, that tolerance is, oh, yeah. Tolerance is getting good. Just juggling around with a combination of bandwidth, frequency cut, and adjusting frequency. That's 3 things. It's possible I might have to use 3 filters there. Oh, that's getting down tight. Oh, but a little fraction drop there, but hey, that's tiny. That's tiny few dB. Tiny few dB, that where my foot is there. That's tiny fraction, but that hump. So let's have a look, see what I can get away with. Put a band pass filter on. Adjust it. Around about 600 hertz. Question is, what bandwidth do I use? I don't use narrow bandwidth, otherwise it'll take out a small slice. Like you got a pie or cake, and you just cut a small slice out of it. I need to widen the Q bandwidth to a certain degree, and then just lower it, and that'll be that. That'll be as good as it'll get. But then you've got to measure it on an actual speaker. That's only measuring electronically on the amplifier. just to do some compensating and see what goes on. Okay, so we try Q bandwidth there. Okay, let's cut the frequency. Adjust the bandwidth. Or adjusting on the frequency. Yeah, it's going over. See, you got to adjust the Q bandwidth so it doesn't go over to the neighbouring part of the frequency range. The wider the Q bandwidth, it will just go over to the neighbouring frequency and bring all that down. So you got to adjust the Q bandwidth. You know, if this were going onto a loudspeaker, I tell you, it will take a lot more filters, a lot of filters. And really, realistically, it's got to be done with individual filters, bit at a time. Otherwise, you only look at a focus resolution of, say, 1/3. Oh, that looks good. You look at 1 octave. Oh, wow. That looks, oh, that's brilliant. But it's not. It's an illusion. You're looking at the wrong resolution. It's like you've got to wear glasses, you know, or a magnifying glass or a microscope or Hubble telescope to see the stars. Yeah, it's extremely difficult. I've used 3 PEQ so far. So it's like I've got to go back in there and put a 4th PEQ and bring that up again, this range here, because where the 3rd PEQ filter I'm using down this end, it's rolling off, it's filtering into the neighbouring frequency and thus lowering down some of the range. But hey, it's doable, okay? So it'll probably take another filter, but it's going to trade off the other filters, because when I use filters over ABC, it's more or less equivalent to, it's adding to the more or less like the HF, the low frequency. It's complicated, so there's a need more. In fact, I think Behringer should make an update version, like a Mark III version of these. I think these, they say they hear us, or they're listening to us, the you know, the customer, because the customer is always right now, isn't they? I say we need filters literally to go 20,100. I think that's about right. So you go 20 to 20, and then you have the other filter, the other band filters as such go down from 20 down to 0 hertz, 0.1, whatever, you know. And then you got something there. Then we have something there we can to adjust. You know, your ego for your speaker will be great. You know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Ego. Okay, I'm taking a break. Put a full filter in. That's come up. That bit's come up a little bit. And so I've taken the line off the what's it? Of course, if I zoom in on that, you'll see a little bit more resolution, a bit more focus. So zoom in. Let's change my glasses. Oh. Okay. Zoom in, focus. That's what a magnifying glass is for. If I put that up there and come down, for argument's sake, about plus or minus 1 dB. I thought it'd be about 0.5, but that's not bad. Do I prefer it? If I turn the filter off, it's going to go a bit loud. So loud. So I'll just look at it on the SPL meter. Do some compensating and such, adjusting. I'll just adjust it for a comfortable. Okay, about 60 dBA. So I'll set that to 70 because I'm pretty sure it's going to go up to about 70 or more. Turn the ABC filter off. And it's going to go loud. Well, not really loud. And it's only adjusted by a few dB. I thought it was going to be a bit louder. So go back to over resolution, adjust it, get that out of my way. Then I'll loss it down. There's a few little, probably take a few more filters just to focus. My camera's got to get a new phone. Get a new phone tomorrow. There's got a line going down the middle, so it's got a bit of a crack. So what's happening here with the touch screen, it's kind of glitching a little bit because of the touch screen, because it's a touch screen. So these smartphones are not impervious. I'll probably get sort of with a impact or whatever bullshit, but I don't like that crap because I can't stand people walking around with their mobile phones with all this crap. Like, they're bloody reliant on these bloody things. Oh, God's sakes, I can't stand mobile phones. Every time you see them in a fucking Spider-Man movie, it makes me want to throw my slipper at the... Well, I've never seen a spider except round of friends, but I was so close to throwing my socks at the bloody TV. It vexes me. In the days, when it was X-Files, you see the typical obnoxious Nokia bloody phone in your face all the time. They're just advertising the bloody thing. And it's always got the standard Nokia phone ringing sound on it. Those things that mould Scully used, that typical, and then they gradually changed the models. It's advertising. Oh, crying out loud. And they're always clicking on it and sending, it's like you're not watching a Spider-Man movie, you're like watching fucking TikTok. Fuck's sake. I've got to vent something into the video. This process of doing this is not for it's for the technical. It takes a while to adjust, but the result. But now, how does it look on the speaker? Because now I've made some compensate adjustment for the amplifier roll off and everything else. Still got plenty of power on tap. And if I haven't got enough, then I'll get another amplifier. It's got about the most on the Behringer for the ones up there, about 75. I can bridge those amplifiers to 150, so that's a few more dB gain. This amplifier, so I need to go out into preference and switch over to microphone. It should be up here on left. And go back to RTA and turn up the slider for that microphone. Well, looking at that, boys and girls, that is not too bad. Now if I turn the ABC filter off, turn it off. Well, look at that sorry ass frequency response. Bloody hell. I've only seen frequency response like that at Disney World back in 1981 with the bloody 82 of the roller coaster ride. Oh dear, look at that. Look at that, for sorry for bloody hell, and it's hurting my bloody ears because it's just so sensitive round this range. So I'll turn it back on, ABC. smoothens it out a bit. Wait, because it's on a bit of a delay with the averages, so it's just wait. It's like lining a telescope for the stars. Tilt, rotation. That's not too bad, and all I need now is a few other filters to correct for the individual speaker. So how many filters have I got? Could I use? I've used 4 filters on this, I think I used 4 filters on the ABC. So most you get is 9. So I'll probably, you know, if I have to trade off one of the bass channel ones, then I've got to trade off some of the bass ones. Just to get 9 filters, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 1, 2, channel 2, channel 4, channel 6, and then I go over to my left center, right center, channel 2, and then channel 6. But I'll put a PEQ filter in there, something there. This bit here is a little bit, this bit here is a little bit awkward. You know, all the rest of it is awkward. They have to be done with at least, you know how many PEQ filters to go from there down to there. You know how many filters? Hundreds. Tiny. This little line, the little lines there, that is more or less representing the sine wave tone. I'll do something to cook your noodle now, Neo. I don't usually do this, but when I do, I use 2 REWs. Why 2? I'll show you why, Neo. Where's the pink noise being generated from? Is it from the Storm? Oh, it's the Storm Audio, I think. Yeah, okay. So hang on. Okay, got 2 generators on now. Okay, one being generated, pink noise by REW going into. Always defaults to left to right. I've got to make a theatre mode so I can use it and make a duplication so it'll go out on all channels. So it'd be like having a format code on the Dolby CP200 processor. To use calibration, it's format 66. So I'll be generating. I'll make it when I've got the time. It's very emotional sort of thing. It's logical, emotional. Isn't it, Bear? Uh-oh, Bear is in the room. Okay, let's see if this works. Should work, in theory. There we go. So, pink noise with sine wave tone. Okay, it's pushing a little bit high there, so turn it off, go back, have a look. Wait for it to settle. So I'm on a different averaging to, otherwise the frequency would dance around a lot. Just wait for that to settle. Okay, I'll put the what's it there. Okay, go back to the sine wave tone, turn down the amplitude. I think about 40 dB is enough. Turn it on. I can just about hear it, and it's just nudging up a little bit there. I'll turn the amplitude down a bit. Don't forget, when 2 signals are adding, they multiplied by about approximately 3 dB. And it's settling down a bit there. Need to come down a little bit more. Maybe about -50. Okay, hold it there. I can see the little nudge in the frequency there. I'll turn the generator off. Wait, and just watch it, like watching paint dry. Yeah, I can see it gradually settling down. I'll go over to an hour faster average. Change the average up to about 8. So it's dancing around a little bit. So turn the generator on. It should be around here. I'll just turn the amplitude up a bit. Now I can see it rising. And I can hear the tone slightly in the pink noise. Now you go up to high frequencies, there's no way you're going to hear it. You've got to make a specific adjustment calibrations, and that takes quite a lot of electrical I would call it myself an electrical engineer. Yeah, why not? I've just got myself a PhD. Wow. Didn't have to spend 10 grand just to get a PhD. Amazing. When you do these things in practice, oh, so what? Someone says, oh, yeah, but everyone does it differently. Okay, so you're trying to say you're right, and just because you got a bit more respect. Hey, who do you think come up with the surround back channel idea? That's my fucking idea. 1989, while I was a projectionist. Fuck you, Dolby Labs. If Dolby Lab had a fucking brain, they'd be dangerous. Seriously. So, like, when going through the frequencies there, that's not even near 2 kilohertz yet. See? Every one of those every one of that, boom, 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 boom. That is a frequency, a sine wave tone. And you need at least 20,100 go from the lowest, from the highest right down to the lowest. Oh, it's 20,000. It's 20,000. 20 to 20. It's 20,000. That's a lot of PEQ filters. There's a lot of there to be adjusted. But once that's all adjusted, all this, nonsense. You can't just put a PEQ filter in here, like there, and then widen the Q bandwidth out. It's going to go over to the... You got to look at it, get the line on the bloody screen. You've got to make some evaluations, because this is something that's, ain't going to happen in a couple of minutes with a Dirac. How good does a Dirac do it? I don't know. I've got it there. I tried using it. It was such a pain in the arse. It wasn't even user friendly. I want to generate pink bloody noise in real time, not do a sine wave tone. I could do that on REW. I've done that time and time again, and I'm still looking at the same bloody thing. There's just not enough fucking bands to fucking adjust it, and I'm getting fucking angry. How do you feel, John? I'm really pissed off. Yeah. So if I generate a tone, go up to say just type in, all right, 6,000. Whoop, not equal. Oh, where is it? 6,000 sine wave. Can I see it here? Oh yeah, I can see it just down here. I'll move the thing in, target on there, the frequency. There, boom. You just see it down there. I'll turn the tone on and off, turn the generator off, just watch. And it settles down. So that tone is actually I can do an inverse, I think, with 2 generators, create a positive signal and a negative a positive polarity and a negative polarity. That's a little bit too technical for you boys out there, so. But otherwise, that needs quite a bit of doing. I can use some filters, get it a little bit, okay, but to me, That's far from ideal, especially when it's getting up to this bit high up there on the, you know, that's falling off a little bit more there, and that needs heck of a lot of adjusting, and it might not even reach that far. May say like need a range on the tweeter or the hat compression or whatever to go really high up. You know, it doesn't have to go up to just make that fucking pink noise. So if it went up to say 30,000 or 40,000, you ain't gonna hear it. It's only going to entertain your pet dog, cat, dog, cat, and a pet bat. That's all it's going to entertain. Or you can watch the entertainment on your bloody microphone or directly on, you know, and then you're going to think your hearing has not evolved to that range, okay? It's like we're dumb and dumber, okay? Elephants hear bloody low frequencies. Even pigeons can hear lows down to infrasonic. But you need a range to go up, so then you get past all these little icky little bits in the frequency range. Otherwise you think, oh, crikey, how much, you know, amplifier power have you got? Because you got the bands, plus or minus whatever you can adjust it to, plus or minus 15 or plus or minus 30 dB or whatever. But you got to bear in mind that's dangerous, because if you put too much of that and it goes into an amplifier, and you got to look at the amplifier response, and it's almost near clipping, and you got to check the frequency directly on the amplifier, that sine wave tone at 20,000 is not generating any harmonics. So if you get a load of harmonics in it, you think, yeah, that's not good. If you might see them in the speaker, because the speaker's then starting now to generate some harmonics, and you want it to play. But say if I were to sing, is that on? Oh yeah, woo, shh, yeah, it's on. It's on. Yeah, okay, so. Let me do that again and I'll stop it, and then let's see how many other tones I'm looking at there. Which one's the fundamental? I don't know. Hang on, let's wait for this out. Is the microphone picking up there? I think it is. Oh yeah, that one's turned off. Let me fade that one down. Okay, so it's just that one. Okay. And stop the response. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Crikey. Oh gosh, blood nipping that, I lost count. Please return seats to upright position. I've lost cabin pressure. I don't know what's the fundamental there and what's the harm. I have to assume it all. Assume they got our phones, our home address, our harmonic frequencies, assume it all. Well, what are we going to do about the EQ? Leave that to me. What happens to Dirac? You want to go on the street World War III with Dirac, with Arc Genesis? Leave Dirac to me. He's a fucking luxury. I'm just doing a reenactment of Heat there. Anyway, there we go.